47-42, a comeback that smelled like miracle, a kickoff that felt like victory. Then one play, one terrible, beautiful, impossible play, and the whole house falls apart. You could hear it in Jamar Chase's steps as he walked off the field. Not quiet resignation, but the kind of frustrated march that comes when you know what went wrong and you know you can't fix it right now. He wasn't yelling at anyone, he was talking to himself. And the line he left rattling in the locker room was simple and savage. One fucking stop. Look at how the afternoon read on paper. The Bengals, behind a makeshift offense with Joe Flacco filling in for Joe Burrow, claw back from a 14-point fourth quarter hole. They pull off an onside kick, they score, momentum flips, the stadium smells like an upset. The team is minutes away from stealing a win that could have been the turning point of this season. Then Caleb Williams connects on a 58-yard touchdown to Colston Loveland, rookie tight end, who splits the defense like it's a gap in a preseason drill. 4 plays. From heartbreak to headline. You feel Jamar's anger because it lands on a reality every player understands. Offense can make glorious mistakes and still win games if the defense does its job at the end. Chase Brown, raw, furious, and honest, put it even plainer. We put the ball in the end zone and go up a point at the end. Finish the f***ing game. Just end it. That line isn't trash talk. It's a demand. It's a locker room ultimatum. It's the exact kind of language that either fractures a team or galvanizes it. Right now, the Bengals look dangerously close to the former. Let's pick apart what actually broke. The stat sheet is ugly. Chicago piled up 576 total yards. The Bengals missed 15 tackles that added 133 yards, and 35 of those yards came on Loveland's game winner. Those are not isolated mistakes. That's a pattern. 15 missed tackles in one game is not a coaching hiccup. It's a systemic vulnerability. Over the season, Cincinnati now sits at 109 missed tackles for 778 extra yards, the worst in the league. That's a problem that eats wins. And yes, context matters. The Bengals are operating with a rotated quarterback carousel because Burrow is sidelined with a toe injury. Joe Flacco did what veterans do. He kept the offense moving, he made the plays he could, and he trusted his veterans to finish. The offense answered the bell. But defenses don't win games alone. They need help in the form of field position, time of possession, and the occasional big stop. When the defense sputters late, all that offensive courage gets stolen in 4 plays. That's what happened Sunday. There's an ugly truth hidden in the locker room quotes. When players start publicly admonishing the defense, when a star receiver says, "I don't want no defensive players coming to chew me out," it tells you the trust ledger is being counted in real time. Chase's pushback wasn't disrespectful. It was defensive posture. He was drawing a boundary. I did my job. Don't come at me about your failures. That's dangerous because in football, you literally depend on the person standing 2 yards away to do their assignment. When that basic expectation frays, the entire chain unravels. Let's zoom into the final drive for a clean forensic moment. Cincinnati scores, executes a textbook onside kick, and breathes hope. That sequence should be the setup for a game-clinching possession. Run the clock, convert manageable downs, and make one play to seal it. Instead, Chicago's Caleb Williams took advantage of an alignment and beat the coverage over the middle. Colston Loveland's breakaway didn't happen because of one heroic move. It happened because the coverage broke down in a way that let a rookie make a veteran-level play. That's both a scouting failure and an execution failure in one replay. You can trace the cause back to fundamentals: tackling, pursuit angles, assignment discipline. Those aren't high-concept problems that X's and O's can fix with a new package. They're practice room issues. They're drills and reps and coaches saying the same sentence over and over until it lands. And that's the cruel part. Fixes are boring. They involve tackling sleds, film sessions, and discomfort. But the alternative is social media vitriol and a slide that once started is ugly to halt. This loss is not a single-game tragedy so much as a symptom. The Bengals have allowed teams to score 40-plus in multiple games, and their defense has only held opponents under 33 times this season. That's not a streak of bad luck. That's a roster identity problem. Whether it's missed personnel, poor tackling fundamentals, or schematic mismatches, the team's defensive resume is now shaping the narrative. A unit that started the year strong is trending toward liability, and players feel that. They're angry because they believe they can be better. They're angry because they don't know if they will be. There's an emotional arc to watch here. Chase and Brown's public frustration could blow the locker room open, or it could be the spark. It depends on the leadership inside that room. If veteran voices use that heat to demand accountability, to set clear, non-negotiable expectations in practice, then this moment becomes the hinge that swings the season. If it turns into blame and public feuding, it will widen a fracture that's already visible on tape. The difference between those two outcomes is social and cultural, and that's what coaches get paid to manage. And the math is real. A 3-6 record in a league that punishes slow starts means margins are tiny. The Bengals can't afford long losing streaks. They can't afford persistent defensive lapses. Joe Burrow's return timeline will color everything. But even with Burrow, this defense needs to earn the right to be trusted in late game situations. Right now, they don't. So what's the plan? First, accountability without theater. Call out missed tackles, yes, but pair each public admonishment with a clear, measurable correction plan. 2-man tackling drills, pursuit angle coaching, and live simulation rep work for late game scenarios. Second, schematic adjustment. If a coverage concept keeps getting beaten over the middle, mask it behind different alignments or quick pressure packages that shorten throws. Third, leadership calibration. Jamar's bluntness and Chase Brown's fury are assets if channeled. Leaders need to transform emotion into process. Discipline only sticks if it's repeated and seen. Final scene, imagine the Bengals locker room a week from now. No fireworks, no television moments, just a group of players in shorts drilling tackling technique until they can do it in their sleep. That's the most boring, least cinematic image, and also the only image that fixes this. If Cincinnati becomes the team that returns from this loss with quieter hunger and cleaner fundamentals, then this Monday's rage will look like a turning point. If it becomes a headline about locker room discord, then Sunday's collapse becomes the shape of a season. Here's the last line for the video. Football is cruelly simple sometimes. It rewards the team that finishes. The Bengals had the chance to finish. They didn't. The reasons are fixable if they want to be fixed. But fixable is not the same as easy. And in Cincinnati, the heat is on. What do you want me to say? He asks the locker room like a man asking a mirror. Then he says the thing everyone in the building already knows. Finish the fucking game. It's a brutal sentence, short, jagged, the kind of profanity that's not about shock value, but about a throat-tight, angry truth. Tonight in Cincinnati, the Bengals scored enough points to win. They engineered a near-miraculous comeback. They pulled a Houdini act on momentum and then, in the space of 4 plays, handed everything back to the Bears. The result wasn't tidy. It was 47-42 Chicago, and a locker room that smells like regret.